Hello, everybody. I'm Nicholas Acosta, an LGBTQ man here in the Orlando, Florida area, and it is my great honor today to accept the position of chapter president of Orlando National Association of Gay, Lesbian, Real Estate Professionals. As the president of the Orlando, Florida chapter, I swear that I will uphold this position to the highest standard and make changes in this country and world happen. And like I said, with that today, I'd like to introduce our other NAGLREP chapter presidents here joining me today. Some others right now are not on the stream with us, but we've got Jamie Zapata with the San Antonio, Texas chapter. Welcome, Jamie. How's it going?
Thank you, Nick. I'm fabulous. How are you doing?
Doing fine. Fabulous here as well. It's an awesome day.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, no worries. And how's everything going? What's the weather like? And how's life in Texas right now?
We only have two seasons over here, Nick. We have hot and hotter, and right now it's hotter. So it's pretty hot, but you know what? I love the heat. So it's actually great. Today's a beautiful day. How about down in Orlando?
Oh my gosh, yes, it's the same thing here. Florida is hot and hotter as well. So
yeah,
which is really well. It's been like 101 degrees so far today.
Oh my god!
And it's only 1 o'clock.
And 200% humidity, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, yes. But we had a really good, nice rain shower last night, which is good because the lakes in downtown and around Orlando needed some recovery from the drought over the year.
Oh, yeah, so, that's good.
All right, so yeah, so Jamie, it's so honored. I'm honored to be part of the NAGLREP, like the Orlando chapter here, and get to know you. We had a really great chat before we went on the show today, and we've chatted in advance as well. Mm-hmm. And so awesome that I get to work with such an amazing person like yourself, and of course Curtis and Chris and Jeff Berger, the president of the NAGLREP for the country.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're lucky. I'm lucky to work with you and Jeff and everyone.
So what's been like going on in Texas? Like, how are things going with your chapter out there in terms of like we talk about everybody's doing Zoom calls or StreamYard like we're doing today. Mm-hmm. What you guys are doing, or what's kind of like the environment or the atmosphere in Texas?
Well, since the beginning of the year, we were actually planning chapter events probably for March. And, after that, I usually like to wait until spring hits to have the first event for the year. And that's when, of course, everything started. And so we weren't able to have any in-person events. And we did a virtual happy hour with the NAGLREP members. And so that we could kind of network and get to know each other from across the country and talk about real estate and, just form, relationships and friendships. But other than the happy hour, everything's been on hold because we had last year done so many in-person events that were amazing. And right now we're not able to do large gatherings. So we're just waiting for everything to get back to normal so we can get together again. How about over there?
Oh yeah. So for us, we still have that maximum of 10 people in a group. Like we've talked about in pre-show and we're talking about now that it's a mixed kind of atmosphere about the virtual thing. As you know, like I've opened up my new real estate brokerage, and I'm actually going to meet somebody today in person. Of course, social distancing, but they asked me to meet them in person. They're against the whole internet video thing.
Wow.
Old school, but of course, I'm going to take precautions to protect myself and them as well. Just for anybody listening out there or watching. So yeah, I mean, there's mixed things where now coming into the business for myself, it's interesting because I'm gonna have to do a lot of the chapter president thing for Orlando virtually for the time being, but also running my business, virtually as well. Like when I onboard new people or independent contractors, then I would do training like this over Zoom or StreamYard. So it's gonna be, but I've been prepared for it. Like I'm sure you have, and you've gotten, like you were talking about how like you use StreamYard as well. It's the new normal, and we just had to accept it. And there is going to be a time. In my heart, I feel like that there is going to be a time where things will return to somewhat normal. probably a lot more precaution than we have in the past in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we're resilient as human beings and as Americans, that we will push forward through this and things will get better. This happened before, not necessarily to this magnitude, but like, what was it, 1912 or whatever, the flu pandemic. So Americans have been through this before on a different scale. We're just more aware of everything because we have technology that's in our face 24/7. So, like social media that's reminding us constantly. Back in those days, they would read a newspaper, and that was it. Whereas today, it's your phone is constantly blowing up with alerts from Facebook and Instagram about what's going on in the world, which is okay. But that's like we talked about too, is like what I think is things have been overwhelming, and we all have to just get along, have unity, and be patient with each other, because these have been very stressful times in the world. And it's kind of intimidating when you go to a store, like we were talking about before, how you get asked to wear a face cover immediately if you don't have one on, and they kind of the companies or the business gets a little aggressive because they're obviously trying to protect yourself, you as a person, and the employees and other patrons of the store. So there's a lot going on that people because for a while here, it feels like in America or in the world, we've all been kind of selfish, and I think this virus is kind of the pandemic of the COVID-19 is kind of help us remember that we're all in this together, like sort of like 9/11 and things like that, or even like the things like the Pulse nightclub and all these events that have happened in history, that we have to unify with each other. We can't tear each other apart or push each other away from us. We all need to come together. And the sooner we come together, the sooner we will push forward and be resilient through this virus or pandemic in the world.
I agree. We definitely need to support each other and understand that people are definitely under stress. Some people are under stress, and people deal with things differently. And, we all make mistakes. We all some of us are overreacting to certain things that we may not normally react to. And everybody just needs to give each other a break and support each other and be there for each other. And we need unity, like you said. So I think that things are going to keep moving forward, and we're still going to be here, and we're going to be stronger next year, and it's going to be amazing, and the market's going to explode. So like real estate, right now, some people may be on hold, but a lot of people are still moving and buying and selling, and we need to be there for them, and then be ready and prepared for next year when things get rolling again, like full force.
No, I completely agree. Things that we were talking about too, things were kind of slowed down here in Florida in general. Obviously, right now we're going through, record interest rates, like being really, really low, and interest to buy and sell. Like I said, I have a listing appointment today at 3:00 in Kissimmee, Florida. But, for a while there, obviously I was doing all my, educational requirements and, advancing myself during the downtime, and, utilizing the time productively and efficiently. So that's been, I got through that. But yeah, and then there was a slow period where my lead activity in Orlando kind of dropped off. Obviously because everybody's afraid, and I understand it's a new experience that we're going through in life. So it's certainly understandable, and I accept it. But in the last few days, things are picking up. So I think as a society, we're starting to get the pandemic. Obviously, it's still a serious thing and a concern in the world, and safety measures we should not get complacent at all. But I think in some people's minds that we've accepted it, that there's no choice. We have to take these precautions into place, or put these precautions in place. And we're going to get through it. We always do. We'll get through it, and we're going to be, thankful that we took the extra precautions to get through this safely. And so, like I said, like the business is slightly starting to uptick here in Florida, from a drop off maybe through the summer. And I feel like my prediction is we're going to double down here in Florida, because usually the summertime is busy when everybody's moving because of school relocation for the children. Or people go off to college and they sell their house because they're empty nest syndrome, and now that's gonna. I think this is gonna, like I said, double up in September and October, to make up for the time where everybody was, keeping more distance and staying home more often than they were in the past. So, but I think well, like, like as the Orlando, and I want, of course, your input, Jamie, and anybody that's out there listening or watching us, because you guys can comment as well. Like I want to, as the chapter president, I know that I feel like from just talking to you today that we're on the same wavelength here. That I just want to, here educate the world or society, and of course on the Orlando level as well, but also reach out nationally and international. But I want to continue to educate those people, the people out there that discriminate for any reason at all, whether it be race or gender or sexuality, orientation, anything like that, family, anything that that the xenophobia and systemic racism. Just for a disclaimer to everybody that I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, so I'm not claiming to be, or this is just my personal passion and my personal feeling in my heart and my soul that and personal experience, the xenophobia and racism, it does not do any good to our society, whether it be in the United States, Orlando, Florida, or Florida in general, or anywhere in the world. We're all human beings, no matter what. And my passion and why I wanted to be the NAGLREP chapter president was to be able to use that passion and that drive I have to tear down walls. And I just had a conversation with Cliff Long. He's the CEO of the Orlando Regional Realtor Association in Orlando. And he was in tears with me. And so I got emotional too. We were talking about it, and we were talking about how you need to tear walls down, not pull walls up, and we all need to work together.
Yeah, so that's a really important message. It's all of us have a role to play in ending racial injustice. Hi, Curtis.
Hey, Curtis. I'm sorry. I thought I had an hour.
Oh, no, it's all good. We were just talking about how we were all getting confused about the time zone difference, and it's all good though.
Yeah. Nice to see you. I was just saying, we were just talking about racial injustice and equality in this country. And I was just saying that we really need, we all have a role to play and making sure that we do whatever we can to end racial injustice in this country and make sure that people are treated equally across the board. And, I personally would like to say that Black Lives Matter, Black trans lives matter. And, it's okay to say that, and it's okay to support people, and everyone deserves equality, no matter what your background is. So I think it's important for everyone to know that.
Exactly. Yes, most definitely.
And everybody that's on the stream right now on NAGLREP website or NAGLREP Facebook and the Orlando chapter here, this is Curtis Hunt, and you're with the Chicago chapter, correct?
I'm the president of the Chicago chapter here. We've had quite a few couple of months here. What with Black Lives Matter and parades, protests, but the vast majority of it, it was a little wild in the beginning, but mostly it has been peaceful. Whether it's still in my neighborhood. I live in probably one of the most diverse neighborhoods in the city. I live in Rogers Park, which is kind of what attracts everybody to my neighborhood. We have everybody. It's a melting pot. So we still have, yesterday coming home from the office, there's still people on the corner holding up signs, honk for equality. So, it's continually going on. And I don't know, it's just, I think it's an exciting time, and it'll be an exciting election.
I agree completely with that. And I was telling Jamie before you got on, Curtis, that in Orlando, my husband and I live downtown Orlando in a high rise, and right outside of our balcony, we're on the 8th floor looking at what's called Lake Eola in downtown Orlando. We got to witness after when the civil unrest happened with the protesting, we got to witness that outside of our balcony when there's about 5,000 people marching down a major road that they closed. The police were actually the Orlando Police Department, which I really do. I want to give them a shout out too. They did an amazing job of protecting everybody and supporting everybody with the Black Lives Matter movement here in Orlando. And it was amazing. It was an emotional time. We could hear it through our window, even though we had hurricane glass, we could still hear the chanting because they were being, getting their voice out there, which made me just feel it made me feel like that we're part of something amazing to make things better in this country for ourselves by, eliminating racial injustice or sexual orientation injustice, whoever you are in the world, that everybody's the same no matter what.
Most definitely. It was a good way to get attention. The large, huge crowds. We had protests like literally right in front of my office here. And the same thing, 5,000-6,000 people. And it just went on and on and on. And they got on Lakeshore Drive. They closed Lakeshore Drive, and it was all peaceful. They just needed to create some commotion. They needed to get some attention. We had some troublemakers, but troublemakers didn't come out until it got dark, and that's where we had some trouble.
How about Jamie? How about you guys? What's been going on in San Antonio with peaceful protests or anything like that?
Yeah, we have had some protests. I haven't gone to any because I personally don't feel safe being around large groups of people. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm safe, and I don't want to get sick or get anyone sick that I know of. So I haven't gone to any of them, but we've had rallies and protests that were well attended, and it was peaceful. There was a little bit of damage and stuff, but I think the most important thing is that damage can be fixed, but people who have lost their lives because of injustice, their lives cannot come back, and a glass window can be replaced, but a person's life cannot be replaced. So, as outrageous as some people think that the damage and whatever that's being done, it's more outrageous. The main thing is that what's being done to people and people that are being treated unfairly. And when that stops, then the damage will stop. So I think that's what the focus should be on. I'm not worried about protests. I'm worried about the people who are losing their lives.
I completely agree with you on that, and I'm sure you do, Curtis. I know you do as well. But it's just what's been happening lately in the world, and this has been going on forever. And unfortunately, in our country, you would think now that we're in the year 2020. In a modern society, this is not the 19th century, the 20th century anymore. We're in the 21st century. That that we should be past it. And I think a lot too, though, is on a certain level. I think on a local level, there's some equality going, but we got to continue to push the message nationally, because there's a lot of pockets that are still wanting to be discriminatory towards us or African Americans or anybody that's different from another country. We were built on, America is built on, the United States was built on basically on diversity, attracting people here to have a better life from wherever they came from, to give them an opportunity to be, have a business, raise their family here and feel safe. That's supposed to be the American way. And a lot of stuff that gets lost in it. And I think the country, and I think this is what the coronavirus is. It's sad, my condolences go out to anybody that has unfortunately lost somebody from the virus, because it's a very, very disheartening thing, a very sad thing for it to happen. But I think what's happening now is that I guess Americans are focused or are faced with having to look inside themselves as to hold themselves accountable now and learn, what am I doing? Why am I treating people unfairly? That's what I think Americans need to do. Look into themselves and figure out where the hatred and that anger is coming from, and remember to be, loving and unified with everybody, no matter who they are, where they came from. And I think that's my passion and my goal. And that's why I'm glad that I'm getting to work with you guys, Jamie and Curtis. And of course, Chris wasn't able to be here today, but anybody else here. And Jeff, and that this is why I'm so really passionate about the National Association of Gay, Lesbian, Real Estate Professionals organization, to work with you guys.
Yeah, we're lucky to all work together.
It's nice to be inclusive and be diverse, because, just relating to business, the more different people you have, even if you were looking at your CRM for a business standpoint, if you're going to just work with this block of people, or you're going to show this house to only these people, what kind of good business is that? You want to open up the pool. The larger the pool, the more diverse the pool, the more the richness your business will have. If you look at your CRM, your contact management system, and you go down and it is just full of, white men, or if it's just full of older people, I think, that's kind of, if I were to focus on anything here in the chapter in Chicago, just in our little group, we want different types of businesses. We want insurance agents. We want real estate agents. We want gay inspectors. We want straight inspectors. You don't have to be gay to join NAGLREP in Chicago. You don't have to be in the business for 25 years and sell $12 million of real estate a year. You can be brand new to the business, join Chicago NAGLREP, whether you do 3 transactions a year or you do 30 transactions a year. Whether, we had a lender host our last Lunch and Learn. That is something that I guess if I were to focus on, I try to marry in as big or diverse of group as I can, whether it's women. I might have Chris, she's a lender with guaranteed rate. I might try to get a couple, I want guys on the panel, I want girls on the panel, I want as many different flavors, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. I want it all because I want to open up the pool and so it hits home with everybody. And that, I think that's what our NAGLREP group is.
No, I completely, same here in Orlando. We have the same thing. It doesn't matter what your sales volume is. It doesn't matter if you're straight, gay, trans, or anything, or African American, or anybody. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's accepted. We're all about unity and everybody across the board. To keep. We're like, we do like you guys do, and I'm sure you, Jamie, too. It's the same thing in Texas, right? For anybody listening.
Yep, everybody's welcome here. That's for sure. We welcome all people.
I was going to say that's where me and Jamie met, was at NAGLREP's summit out in Palm Springs, and the whole theme of that whole summer was power in our numbers. And it was so inspiring to see the huge group of people, but just the diverse. We had everybody and anybody there, and we all just had a good time. It was made for fun, but it was a great place to network. It was a great place to just get together, and and I love the theme that it was. I'm saying it wrong, but it was like we're stronger together, or what was the theme, Jamie? I mean, it was that was power in our numbers or something, but just looking across the convention room floor, you saw everybody.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I think myself, Cassandra, and Grayson were the first trans realtors that were at the convention, and I could be wrong, that I know of, I should say, that were at the convention, and it was amazing, and people were warm and welcoming, which doesn't always happen for us. And so we were really grateful to meet everyone and to network and share our experiences. And it was amazing. We had a great time, but just learning so much and meeting so many great people. And Nick, you'll have to go next time we have one in person.
Oh my God, yes, definitely. We already talked about it. So I already told Curtis, I don't think I told you this, that my husband and I said we're going to have to go visit Jamie in Texas, because I haven't been to Texas before. But also, I've been to Chicago before, but we'll visit you in Chicago as well, Curtis. I mean, the first time I went to Chicago, I was near Michigan Avenue, but I actually stayed in Boys Town. That was 2004, though. I don't know. My late father at the time, said that I was crazy for going, because I actually went in December of 2004, and you guys had like a record winter, and the entire runway was covered in ice when I landed at O'Hare International in Chicago. I was like, he's like, you're crazy, because I'm from Florida. I'm a Florida boy, where it was like 100 degrees, and I went to like -20 in a day in a few hours. So
it's a little chilly, but you get a different wardrobe. You get to swap out your closets about every 4 months.
Not here.
God, not here. Florida, we wear the same thing, t-shirt and shorts every day. or jeans and a t-shirt, or jeans and a polo shirt every day in Florida.
By February, we do layers. You just put another layer on over the top. It's all.
No, that's awesome. So yeah, I was gonna ask too, like, so Curtis, before we have like about 10, 15 more minutes left, but I wanted to ask you, how are things going in Chicago in your region? I got a chance to ask Jamie, and I wanted to ask you as well, Curtis. Like, what are you guys doing to adapt? Or I know you're probably doing Zoom or StreamYard or things like that. How's that going over there? How are people receiving it?
Really, really well. I mean, when the world went sideways in March, everybody, I found the agents that were able to adapt and bend it in the wind are now crazy busy. I mean, I expect to have actually the best year of my real estate career this year, just because I took those months and I just kind of planted seeds, and now I'm busy. If you thought the world was ending, or you had like I'm not going to say a negative. It was a bad situation, but is if your glass is half full or half empty, pour it into a smaller glass. Just you got to keep going. The world is going to keep spinning, and it's so much of sales, real estate, of this industry is your mindset. You have to be positive. You've got to be energized. You've got to keep going. So I'm busy. I find that people our agents are either really, really busy, or they're really, they're slow. There's not a whole lot of in the middle, and it's mostly people that just kept going. It was that easy.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you. I was before you got on, I was telling Jamie too that here when we had to go into that initial lockdown in Florida, I think because it was St. Patrick's Day, or St. Patrick's Day was coming up. Yeah, it was St. Patrick's Day. That was the day they closed all the stuff, restaurants and bars down, and that's how I'll always remember it now, because it was a holiday. So basically, what happened was I just kind of took my business into overdrive. Like you're talking about, letting people, sitting out, start up a email campaign, a new email command, postcard campaign. I did a TV commercial that's going on right now here in the Orlando area. And then also I increased the number of episodes that I do, because I do a podcast as well. Like, it's on the same platform, a Home to All podcast. And then I was doing this. And so I took that into overdrive. And then I also went and studied the broker's exam, did the GRI, ePro, all this stuff.
Nice.
And now it's like you're saying, Curtis, and I completely agree with you, is that, and I was telling, when I get out of here, we get off the show at 1:45, I'm bolting to Kissimmee, Florida, which is only like 20 minutes on the highway system here. But as of last night, I got the first listing appointment I've had in a while, because now people are starting. This gentleman and his wife are starting to feel comfortable again. Obviously, taking precautions. I'm bringing my face cover. Hand sanitizer, all that stuff, whatever is required by the CDC. But what I'm saying is that hard work that I've been doing in these past few months, like you're talking about for you, now anybody that was out there that wasn't taking advantage of this time, in a productive way, yeah, the world didn't end. And now people are ready to start selling, because school's starting again. People are going to college. And also, I'm sure, and I don't know how it is in Chicago. I talked to Jamie we talked about this before the show. And you can chime in on this, Jamie, too, that here in Florida, a lot of buyers are looking, one, they're going to sell their house and want to buy a house that's bigger to have more room, like a pool, because a lot of amenities got shut down publicly, like public pools, or even in like our condo that we live in, we're limited to 1 hour a day, and that's it for our amenities, like the gym. So people now want to have a house with a pool, or extra space for an office, so they can do Zoom calls, StreamYard, podcasting, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm sure, how does that go in for you guys in Chicago and in San Antonio?
Curtis, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's so surprising how fast our business can turn. I mean, an example would be parking spots here in the city. If you sold a condominium and I'm in my office now, there's 901 condos here in the building. There's 658 parking spots. Nobody wanted parking for the last couple of years because you can go down the street and take the L, you can take the train,
Right.
or you can take mass transit, the buses, and stop. So our parking spots were going from $35,000 to $20,000 because nobody wanted parking anymore. Now, nobody wants to take mass transit anymore because they don't want to be packed onto a train. They don't want to be packed onto a bus. So now the parking spots, now it's kind of a premium. And so, I mean, it's just those little things that in our business of real estate, you know, stuff changes. And when it changes quick.
I agree. Yeah, it does. Over here so far, you know, a lot of people are not really selling their houses, but we have tons of buyers. And so there's just so many people competing for properties because there's not enough inventory, you know, and that's, you know, good for sellers, but not so good for buyers. But there's still some, you know, great properties out there. And over here in Texas and San Antonio, it's affordable. So we're able to help a lot of people. And so the market's still going pretty strong. We just don't have that enough inventory. So next year is going to, when people are ready to move again, it's going to be booming big time. But luckily the market, everything's holding steady. The prices are good. They're still going up. You know, everybody's good. And so, but definitely people are wanting like open floor plans so they can watch the kids and work from home if they have to, or they want a little space to work from home or a room or something. So they're wanting a little more room for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for Curtis, it might be like, because in Chicago, I know people that are in New York that live in like Manhattan, for example. If they live in studios, I actually had a customer of mine that was looking initially to rent, and they're still looking to rent, but they were getting it's a husband and wife with a child, small child. Of course, they're, you know, as we know, their parents have been taking on the responsibility now of taking care of their kids' schooling because of what happened. What's been going on, and they were calling me and saying, "Nick, can you find me a large house to rent in Florida?" Because they're not in a efficiency or anything like, or a studio, but I think they're only like in a 1 bedroom or 1.5 whatever loft in New York, in Manhattan, and they were crying, like not screaming, begging me to find them a larger place in Florida, like a big house, like a 5 bedroom 4 bath house with a 2-car garage. Because the whole pandemic thing and the quarantine, especially, they had it really bad in New York and New Jersey. They had an even stricter lockdown than we did in Florida. And they're like, help, please find me a room. I need more space. I mean, they'd be like, I love my wife, I love my kid, but
I need a break.
Some distance between each other.
No, it's true. It's true. You know, you get a little cabin fever, you know, and it's great now that we're in the spring, or I mean in the summer, but back in the spring when we kind of got locked away and it was cold and nobody went outside, that's when people started to get cabin fever. Like, yeah, I need a bigger place. I want a yard. So yeah, things are changing. People now want home offices. You know, it's really, really important. So like I say, who would have thought a year ago, you know, if you would have put together your business plan, or you would have said, you know, I see myself doing this a year from now, nobody would have thought this was all going to be happening. Things changed.
I agree. No, this has been an awesome time, guys, and I really, really appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedules to do this. Especially we're all listening and watching today. We're all in 3. Wait, how long? You're an hour behind, Curtis, too, or?
You know, I think that's what happened. Because I was like, I was late to the meeting. I'm sorry. I thought I still didn't think we even started yet. I thought I had another.
Oh no, it's all good, man. It's all good. I was telling Jamie before we got on the show today that I work with a marketing company in Los Angeles, San Diego, and they're on the 3-hour time difference. So when I get up and it's 11 o'clock, I'm like, okay, I haven't got an email response about this project I'm working on. And I look at the clock again, like, oh, hell. Or heck, I'm like, it's 8 in the morning in San Diego right now, not 11 a.m. like in Florida. So it's all good. This is another thing that this virtual thing too, that's, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good topic to bring up real quick is that we're all having to get used to different, time zones and different schedules because, we're doing this virtual now. So before it was like, okay, we'll know that they're 3 hours behind or 1 hour behind, but now it's like, I just read an article real quick. I'll tell you guys that I think it was like in I don't know, a national news site or an NBC News. They talk about how because of the pandemic and the quarantine that human beings as a species have to do some things now to remind them of time, because time has sort of become non-existent for a lot of people, because we don't have, people don't have to get up in the morning to go to an office necessarily. I mean, some people here in Florida are still working at an office, on staggering their when they go into the office, but we don't have to get in the car, drive, drop the kid off at school, or go do this, or go to get Starbucks at a drive-through, be at the office at this time, and then pick your kid up or whatever after school for a sporting event. So a lot of they say in the article that, and I can kind of see how this works when I was like reflecting on my life, that the time concept for a lot of people or human beings has kind of disappeared, because our accountability. I mean, we're still accountable for our work and our education, but the stress, because we don't have to we don't have to go anywhere in transportation or use transit anymore as often like we used to get places on time. So a lot of they say that the time thing is kind of like some people are forgetting that
Wednesday, is it Thursday? What's today?
Why I was like that before anyhow, because we're in real estate. So I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, I don't know if it's Saturday. I mean, I really do, but at the same time, like, I work 7 days a week technically. So if I get a call on Saturday, that's a work day for me. Or if you follow up to a lead, I'm calling. So I'm like, for me, ever since being in this business, the Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, or whatever has disappeared in my mind.
Yep.
Yeah, it's made me really lazy. I'm like, in the beginning, I was thinking like, oh my God, I really, I'm so tired of being at home. Like, I want to go out and I want to go somewhere. And now when I have to go out, I'm like, oh, I have to go out. Like, I'm so used to just being at home now. So like next year, I'm going to be so lazy, just pushing myself out the door. I got used to it.
Are doing everything virtually. I mean, you can do a CMA. I can send somebody a comparable market analysis, and I use Loom, LOOM, and I marry it in with, Coldwell Banker's Moxie presentations, and I can literally talk. I can send them the link and talk them through the CMA like I was sitting at their kitchen table with them.
Yeah.
So, you just kind of got to bend in the wind and be able to do things differently, use different tools. You can do a listing presentation at 2:00 in the morning and tape it and send it to your client the next morning, and they're not
exactly
different.
Yeah, I was, before we even got into the social distancing thing, when I was with my former brokerage, I had, and I'm going to do this again with my new brokerage, but I had the company name, obviously logo, but I had a huge QR code on my T-shirt, right? And you can even do it from 6 feet away with your zooming on your camera. Like, you don't even have to download a QR app anymore. Your iPhone or your Android phone now, the new camera apps software has the ability to scan it. And I was doing that before this whole lockdown and this COVID-19 announcement, where people started getting afraid to touch things, which is understandable. Because I guess I was sort of like a germaphobe and obsessive compulsive in my own way before this happened. But I wanted to, it was perfect, because then when it came out, somebody posted on the broker's website or the company-wide Facebook page and said, what are your ideas to be able to adapt to it? And then I sent them a picture of my T-shirt with a QR code in the middle. And they're like, oh, that's such a cool thing, because you don't have to hand them a business card. I mean, I have them because I have some customers that still want them. But at the same time, anybody that's tech savvy with a smartphone can just go directly to my website. And when you go to my website, it's got one of those things that pops up like a call to action, where they have to type in their name and their email address and phone number. So then that's still lead capture data, or lead capturing for me. And I was doing that at open houses. I had one. This is obviously a green screen, but I had ordered one of those tall stand-up banners, retractable banners. Had my picture on it, the logo, the EXP or whatever it was, my phone number, everything. And it had a huge QR code. And when you come into my open houses before COVID and during COVID, they would just be able to scan it and then put in their data electronically without having to touch a tablet, because I was using tablets before coronavirus hit, like whatever, you know what I mean, Galaxy. And then I was also doing a long time ago. I was doing paper, but now you know it's all touch free. Like when you go, when I went to go get my lock boxes at a purchase today at Aura, you call them and say I'm outside. They put the lock boxes in a bag with the receipts stapled to a plastic bag, and then you go grab them off the table as that person that worked for the the realtor board goes back inside before they have any contact with you. So same thing with that, contactless kind of registration for customers that come into open houses or anywhere at all. So yep, cool.
Very, very good. I love it.
So yeah, you guys. Well, this has been amazing. I really appreciate you guys. Anybody listening out there is, Jamie and Curtis. If you want to say anything to the audience listening today, we're on the NAGLREP Facebook, NAGLREP Orlando page as well, and then on my Facebook, YouTube channels, and any of your audience as well. What do you have to say to anybody? What are your maybe one goal that you have? Maybe for the rest of the year in dealing with the pandemic or something like that, just so the audience has an idea.
Curtis, you better go first.
All right, Miss Jamie. Let's see. Something that I want to do. I guess it's I've always been, I don't know, I want to say like the nice guy, but I kind of think with inclusion, with diversity, if you now see someone doing something wrong, I think it's very important to call them out on it. I used to be a little bit more passive, and if I saw, someone treating someone in a bad way, maybe I would turn the other way. And no, not anymore. I mean, all lives matter. Black lives matter, gay lives matter, but if you find someone that is not treating someone, I don't even want to say correctly. I always say there's the golden rule: treat people like you want to be treated. But then there's the platinum rule of treat people like they want to be treated. So I guess that would be me. I guess I'm going to be a little bit more of a caller outer. I'm not going to be like, you don't have your mask on, that sort of thing. But, if it's hurting people, and I know Jamie has the biggest heart, and just talking to her over the years, she's a sweetie with a capital S. So I know it's very important just to be good to people.
Thank you, Curtis. I love you. I love everyone. I want everyone to know that, what we can do to help people, whether it's real estate, work, neighbors, friends, family, we need to we need to have more representation across the board of people who are underrepresented, such as LGBT people, our Black Americans, women, people that are underrepresented. We need to lift them up, and we need to listen to them and hear them, and then take action and not judge them or contradict what they're saying. We need to listen to them and then implement policies and procedures that can lift people up, whether it's for real estate, business, whatever it is. Just make sure that their voices are heard. And if you're hiring someone, if you have a company, if you have a brokerage or whatever, hire Black people, hire trans people, hire LGBT people, and give people an opportunity that they deserve, just like everyone else.
I love it. Yep.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome, Jamie, and awesome, Curtis. That's so amazing what you guys said. For me, I'll end on this note that for me, as you know, that I was telling you, I've recently become a broker owner, and my mission as a broker owner is to, and I'm sure, and I know you guys do this in your businesses. My goal is like Jamie was saying, that it's not going to be about anyone being excluded. It's going to be full-on unity in my business, like whether it be somebody trans or African American or from a different country or different ethnicity. It's all, for me, everybody is equal to me. And as the chapter president here, I'm letting you know that you can hold me to the highest standard, in that I'm going to promote inclusiveness across the board in my business, my life, and the world that we live in. So I really think that's just who I am, and I feel like the three of us so far here, I can feel that we're on the same, we're on the same wavelength. So I love it. It's awesome.
The same team. Well, thank you so much.
you.
I appreciate you inviting, interested in what I had to say. Jamie, big hug. Always good.
Thank you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. And to all the NAGLREP members, we miss you. We can't wait to see you all. Thank you, Nick, for having us. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you guys. Yeah, and shout out to our NAGLREP national president, Jeff Berger. He was watching. Thank you for letting us have this opportunity to do this, Jeff, and we appreciate it and everything
Jeff
you do.
Berger,
Thanks,
our
Jeff.
favorite. Thank you, Jeff. We love you. We miss you.
And everybody, and so just in case you guys didn't catch this broadcast today, I wanted to just let you guys know that the broadcast will be available for replay on the NAGLREP national page, Facebook page, NAGLREP Orlando, and my Facebook and YouTube channels. And have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. All right?
Bye, everyone.
Guys. All right, bye.